Welcome back to Windows Wednesday here on Switch to Linux, where we talk about the reasons why we should switch to Linux. I gotta say, we got a good one today. Microsoft keeps on doubling down in weirdness and gaslighting to the extreme. And so we are going to go ahead and talk about that today. Welcome back to Switch to Linux, where we teach about Linux and privacy and why you should switch. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Leave us a like and a comment down below. And today we are in this ever-going battle with Windows. Of course, I switched to Linux, not because I was a computer geek that's like, oh, I gotta find the most crazy and complex way of using my system. Not that Linux is complex. In fact, that's the stereotype many people think Linux is. It's not. You see, I was a lowly little web developer, happily using my Adobe products and my Windows 7 computer and blah, 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 doing my little projects, doing just fine in life, enjoying things. Actually, I multitasked a couple of different things. I did Windows, I did some Mac over here, whatever else. And then Windows 10 comes out and I read that EULA. Whoa! Shivers went down my spine as I recognized Windows was building a system perpetually desiring to grab up all of our data, use all of our data against us. All forms of data are used by them to profit as much as conceivably possible, and you are the product. And there's been this ever-going fight about getting a Windows computer set up. They're trying to get everybody on a Windows computer onto a Microsoft account. And now they are going ahead and making some further changes. So spotted in the development channel, probably to be pushed out. And actually there is a statement from Windows on this. So this will be rolling out. They are going to, now the article here from Ars Technica says, new Windows 11 build makes mandatory Microsoft account sign-in even more mandatory. So it is still possible. In fact, a new way after this rolled out, a new way was discovered, which was even better than the older ways. However, I'm rest assured Microsoft will kill that pretty soon because it goes against their stated goals. But effectively, and this is the method I used when I set up that computer for my friend last year. We installed Windows 11 and then we had to run some commands. In the middle of the boot prompt, you hit your, was it Shift F10, I think. There's a way to get up into the command prompt, and then you type in this command prompt. This is the Bypassnro command. This reboots the system into a way that allows you to create a local account instead of a Microsoft Online account. Well, they are removing that application. So in the latest build, what they saw about halfway down the list, of course, there's this whole list of things. Just halfway down here, just, but by the way, we're removing Bypassnro, why not? So this has been an easy to explain way of setting up a Windows 11 computer without a Microsoft account. But the Windows Insider Program Lead, Amanda Langowski, I think, and Principal Product Manager, Brandon LeBlanc, were clear the changes considered a feature and not a bug. Quote, we are removing the bypassnro.cmd script from the build to enhance security and user experience. They said right in the post, this change ensures that all users exit setup with internet connectivity and a Microsoft account. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the two things that they mentioned here. We are going to do this in order to enhance security and user experience. So let's talk security. Okay, I'm going to create a computer. Let's say that computer does very little. I have one computer in my office like this. The computer I write my short stories and my books and other things on almost never touches the internet. It might touch the internet to move a file into my private cloud system, and then it comes off of the internet. There's not a real good reason to have a lot of internet connectivity or things like that. Now, that is a niche circumstance. Most people these days are connecting their computer to the internet. But what is it about a Microsoft account that makes your computer more secure? Nothing. Nothing. The security in Windows 11 is in Windows Defender. The security is not in a Microsoft account. Now, they want you to have the Microsoft account because it is what allows, the Microsoft account being present is what allows Microsoft to encrypt your disk and pass the file, because they won't encrypt your disk without taking a copy of your passkey to get in, which means that if somebody of some 3-letter agency would like to confiscate your hard drive and you're like, I'm not giving you the passkey, they can just get it from Microsoft. You know, it prevents the common thief from accessing your files at rest. But if it's anybody else, and we probably should fear the government far more than we should fear the thug who's trying to bust into your house, right? But with the Microsoft account, all of these things automatically go up into the cloud. They store a ton of extra information about you, and it becomes a less secure circumstance because now there's all of these endpoints. And we also know, if you watch my channel, in fact, I don't cover these nearly as much as we could. Every week, we're finding ways hackers and phishers are getting into people's Microsoft accounts. Furthermore, if you're using a Microsoft account and relying on that for everything, and you commit a thought crime against the world as deemed by Microsoft, they simply delete access and you've lost everything. That's the easy way. That's the path they want everybody to take. Of course, they say it's more secure if your computer is on the internet. That's literally what they said. It's actually more secure if your computer's not on the internet, but I understand the need to get onto the internet in order to do what you need to do. All right, let's cover the second point. Enhance the user experience of Windows 11. The Microsoft account and being on the internet is what gives them all of these personalized ads. Microsoft has it in their backwards twist up, head up with a rear end view, that an enhanced experience is one where you're pushing personalized ads on me. No, thank you. No, thank you. Not particularly interested. But that is what they say. We're enhanced security and experience. You know, one of these guys is lying if their lips are moving. Charlie Brown's mother made more sense. All right. So, of course, the removal of this makes it harder if you want to exit Windows without internet connectivity or a Microsoft account. And you might be setting up a computer without internet connection or just prefer a local. It's my computer. I just bought this computer. It's my personal computer. I should be able to decide what I want to do with it, right? Of course, the article here at Ars Technica gives us here's benefits to the account. Easy access to existing Microsoft 365 or OneDrive subscriptions, automated encryption for your local disk, and backup of your drive's encryption key for recovery purposes, and the syncing of certain settings between PCs. You know, I'm perfectly capable of going through the 5 minutes of setting the PC. Well, it might be 10 on Windows because they keep reverting all my changes. But, it doesn't matter. They change your changes anyway. It doesn't actually help. But using the local account reduces the number of notifications and other Windows upsells that might bother you. Whatever your reason, you'll need to find a different workaround. So that is what they're doing. Now, fortunately, right at the same time this comes out, over on Windows Central, another way was found for bypassing this. So, and this one also is hilarious. So this is actually easier than the previous ones. So as the news came out about this, various researchers were searching around, and one of them happened to find this. It's the Shift F10 key, by the way, to get to the command prompt. And on the command prompt, you can use this command, start ms-chx : local only. This is going to boot up a system that allows you to create a local user account and proceed with the Windows setup without rebooting, which means this is actually an easier method of setting your system up. Although now that this is known, it's going to go through all of the Windows channels. Be sure that this will be annihilated as quickly as possible. The Microsoft bounty hunters go, oh, we found another feature we need to do. We need to add the feature, get rid of this local only script, folks. All right. So this is what this ends up doing. It produces this prompt here. Now, I find that the wording even on this prompt is gaslit to the extreme. And this thing's so gaslit, and folks, don't light a match. All right. If the account is for a child or a teenager, consider selecting back and creating a Microsoft account. I kind of don't want my kids on the internet this much. And I certainly don't want you collecting all the data for my kids, because they have it in their mind. It's better if their computer is handing all of their data up to Microsoft. Okay. When a younger family member logs in with a Microsoft account, they'll have privacy protections for their age. Privacy protections? Are you kidding me? All right, if you want to use a password, choose something that'll be easy for you to remember, but hard for others to guess. So, go ahead and create your username, password, and hit next. And this is going to allow you to proceed on with the command here. So that's an old Windows 10 style, so you can be assured this one's probably going away soon. But they did test this in the preview builds that they had removed the Bypassnro in, and so this does still work as of now. But now that, of course, the internet's going to be spreading this information on, Microsoft will be quick to annihilate it. So go ahead and think about that. Now, of course, around here, we teach you to use Linux every place where you possibly can. And don't be like, oh, I could never possibly do that. Ooh, it's that scary thing. No, Linux is so easy. In fact, Microsoft has made Windows so complex. Apple has made Mac so complex. You will move to Linux and it will be a massive breath of fresh air. You will come in and be like, wait, my computer's not doing 7,000 processes behind the scenes. It's not slowing down my internet connection by popping ads. It's not sending my user data out to some nebulous cloud server somewhere. It's just sitting there waiting for me to push a button. And it just sit there, just waiting for me to push a button. I can get down with that, yo. Absolutely. This is awesome. Linux Mint is the one I'd recommend. There are hundreds of Linux distributions. That's one of the things that people start in with. Oh, I don't even know where to start. Guys, just start with Linux Mint. It is easy. It is simple. It is intuitive. It works with most hardware. You're not going to go wrong with Linux Mint. And then after you've played around with Linux Mint for a while and you get comfortable with the Linux landscape, then you can branch out and you can decide, I've heard about this Ubuntu thing. Let's check it out. I've heard about Zorin. Let's check it out. I've heard about that Arch thing. Let's check that out. Don't check those out yet. Start on Linux Mint. And then what you're going to do is have a little bit more confidence in yourself to try out some of the other ones. Now, other ones I mentioned, Zorin is also a really good first one to start with. MX Linux is excellent. Outside of those, you're going to find a little bit more complexity in some of these. It's not hard. Linux is easy. It's just different. It's a little bit different. So what do? Well, you land on linuxmint.com, hit your download button, and then I would recommend Cinnamon. Unless you have like a really slow old computer, try the XFCE edition. They have a Mate edition as well. Most people, I'd recommend download the Cinnamon. This downloads a file called an ISO file, a .iso file. And that is a system image file that you can put onto a little flash USB drive. And then you can plug that into your system and you can boot your computer and you do not even have to install it. You can just play with it on your existing computer and see what it's all about. Now, there are installation instructions. Installing things is super simple these days. In fact, Linux is even easier to install than Windows. You have a little QR code over there. You can scan that with your phone and get these instructions on your phone so you can follow through on your phone. But you download it. Now, one of the challenges you might have is you will have to get into your system BIOS and allow yourself to boot off of a USB drive. That's probably the most complicated step, and even that's pretty easy. Now, you do have to look up online how to get into your boot menu and your setup menu for your particular computer because it's different. It could be delete, it could be escape, it could be F2. Those are the common ones. So you hit those on startup, and then you just need to allow the system to boot by a USB drive, and you're generally good. In some instances, you will have to turn off the feature called Secure Boot, which Secure Boot has proven itself to not increase security of your system. Just an FYI, but I will point out many Linux builds do support Secure Boot. And so if you do want to keep that on, you can. You just need to check with it. I think Linux Mint does support it. But you just go ahead and walk down through this guide here, click on each of these steps, and that will help you out in how to actually get system running. And on my channel here, I have a lot of videos about how to use Linux Mint, how to install Linux Mint, how to create that little file, all those types of things. I'm going to leave some of those linked in the video here. So there is our thought, our recommendation, and wow, Microsoft is doing some fun things, isn't it? Isn't it so wonderful that they're trying to get you to use their internet account because they perceive it's better for you if you give your data to them so they can advertise to you. I don't want any part of that, and that is why I use Linux. I hope that you also enjoy using it. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Leave us a like and a comment down below, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.